of this one. I'm taken back to a conversation that we sat and we had at length. When was the right time to move on from Kirk Cousins to Michael Penix Jr.? And maybe it's a week too late. You can play the what-if game, but he did everything you can ask of a young quarterback put in the situation that he was. What impressed you most?
He was playing playoff football the last 3 games, the games that he started. He was playing for the postseason, so you like that he's playing in these high-leverage games that he didn't flinch, and that's huge for them moving forward. Also, when you think about the game against the Chargers, man, if they input Penix in that game and they win, maybe that's the difference here in Week 18. But I love the fact that he was playing in these high-leverage games. He didn't flinch, which goes to the fact that he played a lot of games in college, Indiana, and we saw him play postseason football at Washington. So he was ready for the moment, and you love that he was ready for this moment. The future is bright in Atlanta.
It's certainly a...
Yeah. We'll talk about this more, but I just wanted to kind of get these these videos out real fast. Oh God, if you're a Falcons fan, you should be so furious, man. You should honestly be livid. You should be angry. It's the appropriate response here. It is the appropriate response because I understand the Bucs ended up winning, and I get that. But I mean, even this game alone, because even if the Bucs lost, you still wouldn't have gotten in. I mean, you gave up. The Panthers scored the most points that they scored all season, and you gave up the most points you've given up all season in a gotta have it game. That's so infuriating. And you have this rookie quarterback who stepped up huge. He's obviously not perfect, but this was his 3rd game. I mean, it's kind of outrageous. He went 21 for 38, 312 yards, 8 yards per attempt, 1 rushing touchdown, which was an awesome moment. 2 touchdowns passing and an 88.9 rating. 38 carries for 227 rushing, 6 yards per carry. I mean, again, you have a rookie quarterback in there in a gotta-have-it playoff game, essentially, and you ask him to throw 38 times, 537 total yards. I mean, I know the Panthers kind of turned things around at the end of this season, but not like this. Not like this. I mean, the Falcons had 31 first downs, 9 for 14 on third, 7 yards per play, 4 for 5 in the red zone. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, that's fantastic. You expect to be able to win under those circumstances. But the defense got torched. They were 5 for 6 in the red zone, 425 total yards. So it's so infuriating because you see what Penix was able to do. And it was reportedly, the Falcons were absolutely thrilled with what Penix was doing. Thrilled. And which means to me, it signals you should have put him in. If you were going to put him in the final 3 games, well, then you could have put him in the final 6 games, in the final 8 games. I understand trying to give Kirk Cousins his leash, so to speak, like give him some slack, let him try to like find his way in some issues, and you don't want to bench him too quickly. Like, I get that, but also kind of not, because you don't owe Kirk Cousins anything. You owe him tons of money, and that was your fault. But it's not like this guy played for the Falcons for the last like 10 years. This wasn't one of those situations where you're like, nah, we can't just bench him right now. Yeah, he's kind of having a bad stretch, but we got to give him a chance to see if this is it, if this is the end of the line. Kirk Cousins is a grown-up. He understood. He understands everything. He got paid. He's at the end of his career. Once things started to really get rocky, you could have been like, hey, we're going to have to sit you now. Doesn't mean it's permanent. We have to throw Penix in there. You see what he's doing in practice. He's looking really great. We got to see if this does some juice. And if it doesn't, then we'll kind of we'll bench him and put him back. I understand we don't want to do like the starting and the benching and the starting and the benching, but you've already messed things up to begin with. You already threw in your rookie quarterback at the end of the season in a gotta have it moment where if he fit, like you were already putting him in a position to not succeed in the first place. Actually, like the Falcons did not put Penix in a position to succeed. He succeeded because of his own maturity and skill set. Throwing in a rookie quarterback at the end of the season saying, hey, you really got to win for us, buddy. It's all going to come down to you. We know all these other rookie quarterbacks got to make a million mistakes week after week after week. Bo Nix, Caleb, Jaden Daniels, they got to have really weird, ugly, wonky games. You can't have a single one. If you do, you ruin our entire season. Sorry. Best of luck. So they already made things weird. It was already a bizarre situation that they did in the first place. And again, he passed with flying colors, which is awesome. And it is awesome for the future. But like a bunch of Falcons fans said, is like, I'm sick of constantly waiting for next year. And that's why you should be pissed. You should be angry. You should be furious. You should be upset. Because you should be in the playoffs right now. And that would be fun. I don't know what you would do in the playoffs. You know, I don't know who you would necessarily be playing in this situation. All kind of depends with the seeding. But like, this just doesn't sit well for me. It really doesn't. And now you still are going to have, you know, the money for Kirk, and you're going to cut him, and you're just making things messier than they need to be. And when people make things messier than they need to be, it angers me. It really does. And I will be optimistic and when we talk about the Falcons, you know, in the next few videos on, you know, Monday through Friday or whatever, and throughout the off season. Because Penix really, really, really impressed me. Again, it cannot be understated the intensity of the situation that he was thrown in. His third game in the NFL, being asked to do this. And what he was able to do is amazing. Threw over for 300 yards. 21 for 38, 8 yards per attempt, not like little dink and dunks, making some big time tight window throw. The one thing is the guy's kind of got a weird obsession with these tight window throws. I'm like, all right, we gotta like, that's awesome and I love it, but like also like, we need to also have other throws that aren't just continuously tight window throws, you know? Like, come on, we gotta get this guy some pretty easy, nice pitch and catch throws here. But just really impressive. And yeah. That run game, obviously dominant. 227 yards rushing, 6 yards per carry. 6 yards per carry is bonkers. And it's not one of those situations where it was like, well, yeah, we ran like only 15 times, you know, and we just had a couple big runs. And so, yeah, 6 yards. No, like 6 yards per carry on 38 rushing attempts is wild. That's wild. That is an ultimate cheat code. That is the ultimate cheat code, and you couldn't find your way into the playoffs. Like, that's so hard to accept. It really is. That is so hard to accept. And I really do encourage Atlanta Falcons fans to hold the Falcons' feet to the fire. You demand better this offseason. You demand better going into next season. You demand that they make the moves that they need to make. You demand it. Baker Mayfield went 21 for 32, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. They squeaked on by the New Orleans Saints. They're going to the playoffs. You had a rookie quarterback through over 300 yards. Multiple touchdowns, 3 total touchdowns. And you're not. You could have been the Washington Commanders this year. Like, you realize that. You saw the amazing season that Jaden Daniels and the Commanders had. They completely turned this thing around and are firmly in the playoffs. They didn't sneak into the playoffs. They didn't get into the playoffs because all these other teams are bad. They got into the playoffs because they absolutely 1,000% belong there. That could have been the Falcons. It could have been the Falcons. And it was their own doing why they're not. You have to face that reality. You have to face that reality, and you have to hold the Falcons accountable for it. They have to understand that reality. And it's up to the fans and the media to tell them, this is what you did. This is what you did. Do better. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Atlanta Falcons being eliminated from playoffs? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.